Imagine that you're trapped inside a blazing inferno with no oxygen left to breathe and no way out. It's a possibility that firefighters must face every day. Kenneth Carter found himself in that life-threatening situation. All the elements were there, the fire, the empty oxygen tank, and smoke so thick that he couldn't see the way out. But there was something else inside that burning building, something waiting and watching. The life of a fireman is a daily confrontation with the possibility of injury and death. No one understands this more than retired firefighter Kenneth Carter.
We realize when we become firefighters that there are dangers involved. And our families know that also, our wives and our children. They know that when we leave to go to that fire station that there's a possibility we might not be coming home.
Kenneth was stationed in Hialeah, Florida, when a local discotheque was robbed and ransacked. Police, responding to the robbery, discovered fire.
We had just settled down after doing the dishes after dinner. We were hoping for a quiet night, but we didn't get that.
At 1700 hours, the alarm sounded.
When we do go to the truck, we really don't know where we're going. The driver does, but the men that ride the back of the truck don't have any idea where they're going or what type of fire it is, what type of building it is. You never know what's going to happen to you, and there's a lot of fear involved, but through your training and through your years of experience, you're able to calm yourself to a point where you work efficiently and you work fast, but still that fear is always there that something may happen.
The fire at the nightclub was fed by large quantities of alcohol and plastics in the decor, creating extraordinary heat and thick, noxious smoke. Approximately 25 men responded to this dangerous fire. Kenneth and his partner were the first to go in. Their job was to fight the fire from inside, knocking the flames back with the fire hose.
We went inside, and we got about 25 to 30 feet inside, and we saw flame, we saw smoke. We stooped down in front of the bar, hoping that would partially shield us from some of the heat.
Water!
It's extremely hot in this building. It's extremely smoky in this building. And the heat was tremendous.
Kenneth and his partner struggled to battle the raging blaze inside the building. But as the fire spread, Kenneth's partner ran low on air. An alarm sounded on the air tank, giving only a few minutes warning.
Fire! We gotta go! I'm right behind you!
I stayed in the fire at that time knowing that I had just a few more minutes of air and I could do as much good as possible in that shorter period of time. So I remained hoping that he would either return in a few minutes or the backup crew were going to come in right behind him. Neither one of them happened.
With less than a minute of air left in his tank, Kenneth knew it was time to get outside.
I picked up the hose and I was following the hose out like you're supposed to, and I got to a pile of hose. And every piece of hose that I picked up led nowhere, led back into a circle again. I started to become disoriented and confused, and suddenly my tank went dry. I know that because my mask started to tighten on my face. That meant no air left.
At first, his partner thought Kenneth had followed him out. Only too late did he realize he was still inside and in serious trouble.
At that point, when my mask started to collapse on my face, I didn't know whether I was going to make it out of the fire or not. And I said to myself that it's time to try and maybe ask for help. The first thing I noticed was a small blue light, and I thought at first that it was the lights of our police cars coming through a window somewhere, but it just took seconds for that blue glow to keep growing. It began to take the shape of a young lady. And she looked at me, and I looked her right in the face. And I said, if you're here to take me, then I'm ready to go. But if you're here to show me the way out, then please do so now. And at that point, she raised her arm and pointed.
But when Kenneth went in that direction, he came up against a solid wall. In desperation, he pushed against it, and it miraculously gave way. He burst out through a boarded-up door that nobody knew existed into the alleyway.
At that point, I thought, maybe it was a dream. Maybe I was lucky. Maybe I got up and stumbled against the door and it just came open.
Hey, Ned, you all right? Yeah, I'm okay.
I didn't know exactly what went on until I went back in the fire after the fire was extinguished.
When the fire was out, Kenneth went back to try to justify what he had seen. When he looked at where the vision had appeared to him, he found a white, concrete pillar.
And I said, well, that's what I had to see, still denying what I had seen. But I did go over to the post. Now, after a fire of this intensity, everything is still extremely hot. It's hot for hours. When I reached up and I touched the pole was ice cold. And as I stood there, a faint blue light started to form beneath my hand. And I knew then that what I saw was what I saw. And it truly was the angel or premonition or whatever you want to call it that came to me to show me the way to get out of the building.
No one can explain what happened to Kenneth Carter that night, but the miracle of his survival and of the years of service to his community that followed prove that someone or something must have been looking over his shoulder in his most desperate time of need.
My husband's been a firefighter for 25 years. I truly believe he's a really special person, and this is why he's still on this earth, to help as many people as he possibly could.
And perhaps to repay the unexpected help he received that night in the fire.
The image that I saw that evening, the person I call my angel, she was real dark hair. She had a very, very serene face. And in fact, she never changed her expression, but it was so calming that I think this is what really helped me get out of the building. I feel that everybody's got a guardian angel, and I think when I called for help that she was sent and she was my guardian angel. Whenever I find myself in a hard spot, I sort of picture her again to bring me back from that hard spot.